Good evening, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome back to your home for all things red and gold. Let me start you with a question that's been echoing through the halls of Arrowhead and across every tailgate from Missouri to the far corners of Chiefs Kingdom. How does a dynasty respond when the road suddenly gets rough? Because for the Kansas City Chiefs, this season wasn't supposed to feel like this. Not after banners were raised. Not after confetti fell. Not after years of dominance that made winning feel almost inevitable. As we sit here reflecting on a cold Christmas night at Gayha Field at Arrowhead Stadium, one of the loudest, most intimidating venues in all of sports, the conversation has shifted. Not to playoff seedings. Not to Super Bowl matchups. But to hard questions. Tough decisions. And one name that keeps coming up in every front office discussion and every fan debate: Christian Fulton. The Chiefs are staring at the end of a season that never quite found its rhythm. A year that began with Super Bowl expectations and ends with evaluation and accountability. A year where injuries piled up, margins disappeared, and the standard that this franchise set for itself suddenly felt heavier than ever. And now, with the postseason out of reach, the spotlight turns forward. Toward 2026. Toward the cap. Toward identity. Toward whether this team reloads or resets. Let's hook you with the reality of it. Imagine betting big on a proven defensive back. A former second-round pick. A player coming off one of the strongest seasons of his career. You sign him to a 2-year, $20 million deal, believing he's the missing piece in a championship-caliber secondary. Then the season hits. Injuries strike. Availability becomes the issue. 7 games played. A defense searching for consistency. And suddenly, that contract looms large, with a $13 million cap hit staring you in the face next year. That's where the Chiefs are with Christian Fulton right now. But hold on, Chiefs Kingdom, because football is never just numbers on a spreadsheet. On Christmas night, in that gritty 20-13 loss to Denver, Fulton reminded everyone why he was brought here. 3 tackles. 3 passes defended. 1 massive deflection that turned into a Nick Bolton interception. Tight coverage on Cortland Sutton when the game was on the line. For one night, the flashes became substance. And afterward, the praise came straight from the top. Andy Reid didn't hesitate. He talked about health, about belief, about why Brett Veach brought Fulton to Kansas City in the first place. That's not coach speak. That's context. That's a reminder that talent doesn't disappear. It waits for opportunity. Now let's break it down, because this isn't about one performance. Christian Fulton's story starts long before Kansas City. A standout at LSU, part of a national championship defense, drafted in the second round in 2020. 6 feet tall, nearly 200 pounds, physical at the line of scrimmage, confident in press coverage. This is a corner who wants the challenge. Who wants the best receiver? Who wants to travel? When healthy, he plays with the kind of edge Steve Spagnuolo loves. And let's talk scheme for a moment, because that matters. Spagnuolo's defense is aggressive by design. It thrives on man coverage, disguised pressure, and chaos up front. Corners who can hold up on islands allow Chris Jones to wreck games inside. They allow linebackers to blitz freely. They turn quarterbacks into decision-makers under duress. When Fulton was on the field, the numbers backed it up. Quarterbacks targeting him struggled. Against Denver, the passer rating into his coverage dipped below 50. That's elite territory. The problem, and it's a big one, has been availability. Knee surgery. Ankle issues. Time missed. Only 7 games active in a season where continuity mattered more than ever. Football people will tell you the best ability is availability, and this year, that's where the Chiefs were hurt the most, across the roster. Zoom out now, because context is everything in Kansas City. This franchise knows how to win. From Len Dawson leading the team to glory in Super Bowl IV back in 1969, to the modern dynasty built under Andy Reid, the Chiefs have always found a way to evolve. Think about the arc. Super Bowl 54 in 2020. Then again in 2023. Then again in 2024. 3 Lombardis in 5 seasons. A run that put this team in rare air. And at the center of it all stands Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback who changed expectations. The play-calling leader. The improviser. The magician. Mahomes didn't just elevate the offense. He redefined what was possible. No-look passes. Off-platform throws. Late-game comebacks that broke opposing fan bases. Compare his numbers to the rest of the league, and the gap still tells the story. Even in a down year by Chiefs standards, Mahomes' efficiency, decision-making, and command remain elite. Right alongside him, the heartbeat of the offense, Travis Kelce. A tight end who runs routes like a receiver, blocks like a lineman, and understands space better than anyone in football. Kelce's chemistry with Mahomes has tortured defenses for nearly a decade. Third and long. Look for 87. Red zone. Look for 87. Big moment. You already know. And when you talk defense, you talk about Chris Jones. The disruptor. The tone setter. The guy who collapses pockets and changes game plans. Chiefs defenses of the past. Think Derek Thomas terrorizing quarterbacks. Think Tyrann Mathieu commanding the secondary. Were built on stars who made everyone else better. This year, injuries and inconsistency made that harder to sustain. Statistically, the drop-off is clear. In the championship seasons from 2022 to 2024, Kansas City ranked near the top of the league in pass defense efficiency. This season, chunk plays became a problem. Rotations changed weekly. Young players were forced into big roles early. And that's where a healthy veteran like Fulton was supposed to stabilize things. Now imagine the conversations happening behind closed doors. Brett Veach weighing the cap. Analysts debating value. Fans split down the middle. One side says you can't pay $13 million for 7 games. The other says you don't let talent walk when the upside is still there. Even fictional voices echo the reality. A front office exec saying, "That Broncos game? That's the player we signed." A defensive leader saying, "When he's right, nobody throws his way." A fan in the parking lot saying, "I love the player, but the math has to work." And the math does matter. The Chiefs face a tight cap future with Mahomes' deal anchoring the books. A pre-June 1st release saves money but creates dead cap. A restructure buys time but carries risk. Drafting young corners adds energy but also uncertainty. Every path has consequences. Here's where the bigger picture comes into focus. This offseason isn't about panic. It's about recalibration. Dynasties don't last because they avoid adversity. They last because they respond to it. Andy Reid has done this before. He's adjusted schemes. He's trusted youth. He's leaned into leadership. And history says when Reid has time to reflect and reload, the league usually feels it the following fall. So what's the prediction? Expect creativity. Expect honest conversations. Expect the Chiefs to explore restructuring while continuing to invest in the secondary through the draft. Expect competition. And expect hunger. Missing the playoffs hurts, but it also sharpens focus. This roster still has its core. It still has its quarterback. It still has its culture. And don't forget where this all happens. Arrowhead. The tomahawk chop echoing through the night. The cold air. The noise that rattles opposing offenses. Rivalries that never sleep. Raiders week. Broncos battles. Chargers showdowns. This franchise feeds off that energy, and Chiefs Kingdom has never been louder when challenged. One game remains. A trip to Las Vegas. A chance to play spoiler. A chance to set the tone for what comes next. Because this story isn't over. Not even close. So stay locked in. Stay loud. Stay proud. This is the Chiefs we know. This is the Chiefs we believe in. And if history has taught us anything, it's that Kansas City never stays down for long. Kingdom forever. Total characters, 10,214.